The Supreme Court just upheld Texas porn age verification law, meaning that adult content sites must now check IDs before letting fans in. That impacts creator revenue, it impacts fan and user privacy, and also just how you connect with fans. So stick around because I'm actually going to break down what it actually is, what it means for you, the creator, and how it could spread nationwide. And more importantly, what smart creators need to do right now to prepare for it. If you've ever lost fans because OF or similar platform requires the fans to ID verify themselves on the platform, or you've noticed traffic has recently tailed off a little bit, you're not alone. The new Supreme Court ruling on the Texas case, and likely the 19 other states that are going to follow here in the US, now require age verification for users trying to access adult content across all adult platforms. In this video, I want to discuss what the ruling says and why Texas won that decision, the privacy, the tech, and the business fallout for creators. And finally, the steps that you should take and the considerations that you should be making within your own adult business in preparation for this. Now, before we get into that, I want to clarify why age verification or requiring grown adults to show their ID before accessing adult content on the internet is bad policy. People don't seem to realize quite clearly why this is so problematic. Because at first thought, many people hear this and they think, well, hey, I don't want minors accessing adult content. And guess what? Neither do we. This probably sounds like a great law to most people, but that's exactly what they want you to think, so that you don't question what this law actually means. First off, requiring ID to access adult content means that adults will need to upload a copy of their ID and scan their face via a facial scan submission, and then submit those to a third-party platform to verify their age. Now, these third-party platforms cross-verify your age by comparing your facial scan and ID to other known places that you have that material on file. So that would be places like with your employer, or maybe with your bank, or any other government database you might be a part of. Now, those aren't typically people that you want knowing you're on adult websites. Also, like with anything else online, none of these things are particularly safe or hazard-proof. These age verification platforms that you'll scan your face and ID to, they open you up to identity theft, monitoring, and surveillance. Or worse, things like blackmail and extortion. In fact, there are already instances of phishing scams on the internet that pose as age verification websites. They record your face and take your ID and then record you from your webcam while you enjoy your adult content. So tell me, does that still sound like a good law? Something that's going to keep minors safe? Well, the other problem with this legislation is that it doesn't actually work. Anyone that wants to use a VPN to access adult content from just another state still can. The real way to protect minors from accessing adult content and material is with parental controls, device locks, or just calling your internet provider and having them block those websites. All of which is easier to do and much more effective than this piece of legislation. Now, the common things people are comparing this law to is how you have to flash your ID at a grocery store if you want to buy alcohol or cigarettes, for example. But the difference is, those places don't document and store your data or ID. They don't leave you open to identity theft or surveillance or extortion. Those things are simply not apples-to-apples comparisons. They simply aren't the same. And the worst part is that the users who go to these adult sites that don't want to scan their face or their ID, they're simply just going to go to another website, hosted not in the US, so a website that doesn't need to comply to this kind of law, and they're going to access content there, which means that those minors that this law is claiming to protect will still also do. And those sites that are hosted outside the US, mind you, they aren't held to the same standards as our US websites are. They don't require people to upload their ID to the sites when they're uploading content to prove it's consensual. They don't require you to prove your content isn't revenge pornography. They don't require you to prove the people that are depicted in your content or on camera are even of age. So that is where all this traffic is going to end up, on all of those unethical adult websites hosted outside of the US, causing a lot more harm and exploitation. And then also providing that kind of content to those minors that you're still not protecting. So now that you understand why this law is not a good solution, I want to talk about what happened when they took it to the Supreme Court and what it means now that they've upheld it. The judge decided that the age verification and all of the problems that come along with this law, that it's more important since it protects minors than it is a burden to free speech in our First Amendment rights. This decision also reversed a previous decision on the same topic, the 2004 Ashcroft v. ACLU standard, claiming that technology has shifted and therefore the law needs to change as well. The fact that the Supreme Court judges simply voted amongst party lines on this case instead of basing their decision on our Constitution, it was a very disappointing day to be in the adult industry. And it was a disappointing day for anyone who had any belief left in our judicial system, to be honest. Now, it's very obvious how this ruling will impact adult platforms, the tube sites of the world. Small adult websites won't be able to afford the cost of ID verifying every user, so a lot of those platforms will cease to exist. Now, adult performers who maintain their own websites or pay sites by themselves, they'll now have to take on that burden, that cost of age verification. Otherwise, their websites will probably do the same. The only other alternative for those websites to stay alive is, in effect, charging more to the fan and the audience that pays for that content. So they'll either pass that cost down to their customers or they'll cease to be. Now, many adult websites will simply geo-block states that implement these age verification laws. That's similar to what Pornhub has been doing, just pulling access to their website from any of those states that have passed this age verification legislation. But I want to talk about what this law actually does to the individual creators themselves, what adult performers need to think and prepare for in anticipation of more and more states passing similar legislation. First, you should expect less traffic if your sales funnel relies on tube sites. So if you're an adult creator who posts your content on tube sites like Pornhub, for example, and maybe it's your trailer video and at the end it says the link to your OF, you're going to likely see a decrease in traffic as more and more states implement age verification policy. Also, another one that comes to mind is if you're a live webcam model. On live webcam sites, you will now need to age verify before being able to access the chat room that you are trying to view, meaning that live webcam traffic is really likely to take a hit in a major way in terms of new cam users and new cam fans. Now, if the majority of your new traffic or top of your sales funnel for your adult business relies on cams or relies on tube sites, it's probably time to rethink this strategy. The next change that I think we can all kind of expect is skewed data and reporting and analytics. So internet users in these states with age verification laws are more than likely just going to sign up for a VPN and continue to access the content that they care about. They're going to do this because, of course, they don't want to give their ID over to age verify on an adult website. And the result of this means that your data and analytics will likely be skewed and misrepresent the traffic that's actually coming to your platform and spending money on you. And then the final thing that we are likely going to start to see a lot of is a huge increase in piracy. When people can't access your content in the place they used to, places you actually uploaded it ethically, like Pornhub, it means that pirates will see a huge opportunity to steal it and post the content on other websites, because you as a creator already have a brand and already have an audience that you've built over many years searching and looking for you online. And the pirates will want to capitalize on that traffic and capitalize on that click. But those clicks and that traffic aren't going to be willing to scan their IDs or their face to watch you. And therefore, the demand for your content stolen, posted elsewhere, will begin to increase. Now, those are the three initial things that I think are immediate concerns for adult creators, or at least the top three things that I foresee independent creators having to face as a result of these age verification laws. aside from just the massive attack on your free speech in general, of course. Now, please remember, you aren't helpless. In legal battles like this, as adult creators, you can educate and you can inform other creators as well as your fans by providing them this information, providing them stuff like this video, for example. You can also join the Free Speech Coalition, or freespeechcoalition.com, which is a nonprofit organization taking on the legal battles on behalf of us and the adult industry. The Texas Supreme Court decision was a very, very devastating loss for the First Amendment, for the adult industry, for adult creators, performers, just all of it. But we can prepare now for the fallout, and we can make strategic decisions on how we navigate it. The adult industry and sex workers as a whole have always been kind of these canaries in the coal mine, so to speak. We've always sounded the alarms when it comes to free speech, privacy issues, and just so much more. And we've always found our way, and we've always navigated all of it. Now, I don't want you to watch this video and leave it feeling hopeless. I don't feel hopeless. Disappointed, yes. Hopeless, no. I feel optimistic because we are entering an era of the creator economy. By the way, that is an economy that is estimated to grow to $1.5 trillion by 2034. Content creators like you and myself are becoming millionaires and billionaires every single year. I'm including mainstream creators in this as well. And when creators get resources like that, those same creators, or CEOs, as we should probably be calling them more properly, well, they will demand a change. They will, in fact, impact that change. And some of us, we're going to become them. It's important that you're here and that you care about these issues. And it's important that you do not lose sight of the mission when the money makes you comfortable. And I know that if you are here and you are watching these videos, that this matters to you. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for daring to build a business that a lot of people would really, really rather you didn't. And thank you for helping to drive the mission forward. If you want to support this channel, just make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification and do all those fun things so that you never miss a video. I will continue to keep putting them out, to keep fighting the good fights. I appreciate every second you spend with me here, and I hope you have a better standing of what we're up against. Thank you so much for watching, CEO Squad. I'll see you in the next one.